Did you know that in early 18th century London, men and women fought with weapons for sport? Hard to believe? Let's take a look. The following observation was published in the book Eyewitness to History. The three-page essay is titled Pantomimes and Gladiators, February 1728, A French Tourist in London, by César du Saussure. My research found this may be the same author of A Foreign View of England in the Reigns of George I and II, but I have not confirmed that, so my apologies if that is not correct. Either way, the essay begins with a description of the theater in Lincoln's Inn Field, where actors performed a type of show called a pantomime. These entertainments are composed of two parts. The first is taken from a mythological fable. The second part is acted and not spoken, and it is generally very comical. Halfway through the essay, the author switches to another topic. I was sufficiently curious to wish to see the gladiators, and I will describe their manner of fighting. The gladiator stage is round. The spectators sit in galleries, and the spectacle generally commences by a fight with wicker staves by a few rogues. They do not spare each other, but are very skillful in giving great whacks on the head. When blood oozes from one of the combatants, a few coins are thrown to the victor. These games serve to pass the time till all the spectators have arrived. The day I went to see the gladiators fight, I witnessed an extraordinary combat, two women being the champions. As soon as they appeared on stage, they made the spectators a profound reverence. They then saluted each other and engaged in a lively and amusing conversation. They boasted that they had a great amount of courage, strength, and intrepidity. One of them regretted she was not born a man, else she would have made her fortune by her powers. The other declared she beat her husband every morning to keep her hand ready. One of these Amazons was a stout Irish woman, strong and lithe to look at. The other was a small English woman, full of fire and very agile. Their weapons were a sort of two-handed sword, 3 or 3½ feet in length. The guard was covered, and the blade was about 3 inches wide and not sharp. Only about half a foot of it was, but then that part cut like a razor. The spectators made numerous bets. On either side of the two Amazons, a man stood by, holding a long staff, ready to separate them should blood flow. After a time the combat became very animated, and was conducted with force and vigor with the broadside of the weapons, for points there were none. The Irishwoman presently received a great cut across the forehead, and that put a stop to the first part of the combat. The Englishwoman's backers threw her shillings and half-crowns and applauded her. During this time, the wounded woman's forehead was sewn up, this being done on the stage. A plaster was applied to it, and she drank a good big glass of spirits to revive her courage. The fight began again, each combatant holding a dagger in her left hand to ward off the blows. The Irishwoman was wounded a second time, and her adversary again received coins and plaudits from her admirers. The wound was sewn up, and for a third time the battle recommenced, the women holding wicker shields as defensive weapons. This third combat was fought for some time without result, but the poor Irishwoman was destined to be the loser, for she received a long and deep wound all across her neck and throat. The surgeon sewed it up, but she was too badly hurt to fight any more, and it was time, for the combatants were dripping with perspiration, and the Irishwoman also with blood. A few coins were thrown to her to console her, but the victor made a good day's work out of the combat. Fortunately, it is very rarely one hears of women gladiators. And there ends the short eyewitness account of women gladiators in Old London. What can we learn from all this? Well, how about, there are easier ways in the world to make money. Or, do not get into a sword fight with a woman from the 18th century. Or probably any woman. I'll let you decide. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to this channel for new videos every week or two, and see the description below for a list of books, videos, and fictional characters featured in this video.